Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show, coming to you once again live from Los Angeles. Yes, it has gotten that bad. John McCain is now actually comparing Obama to Britney Spears and Paris Hilton. And now even some Republicans saying, in the words of the great Paris Hilton, that's not so hot. With us tonight, Tucker Carlson, Chrystia Freeland, and Roy Sekoff. Today, the McCain camp trying to use Obama's rock star-like treatment to turn him into a pop prince, comparing him to Britney and Paris in a new TV ad. The attack drawing sharp criticism from an unlikely source today, a former McCain strategist who called it, quote, childish. This week alone, McCain's questioned Obama's patriotism, accusing him of snubbing the troops while overseas, and implying that Obama would be willing to lose the war in Iraq to win the election. Obama says he doesn't mind.
You know, I don't pay attention to John McCain's ads. Although I do notice that he doesn't seem to have anything very positive to say about himself, does he? He seems to only be talking about me. You need to ask John McCain what he's for, not just what he's against.
McCain is blasted today by two major papers. The New York Times claiming he's adopted Karl Rove's brand of politics. The Washington Post hammering him for making false attacks on Obama in a recent TV ad. So the question tonight, what happened to this John McCain?
Americans want a respectful campaign.
Sure.
They do. They want it. Now, people say, well, negative ads move numbers. They may. But do we have to go to the lowest common denominator? I don't think so.
With us tonight, MSNBC senior campaign correspondent Tucker Carlson, Chrystia Freeland, U.S. managing editor for the Financial Times, and Roy Sekoff, founding editor of the Huffington Post. All right, Roy, I think this is sort of a beanball to set up for you, but you know you've now got a lot of the major papers now coming out against McCain. What do you make of the comparison to Britney and Paris?
I was going to see who was the first one on the show to say, leave Britney alone, so yeah. I guess that's me. But, you know, it's obvious, as Obama says, that they don't have anything positive. That's been clear from the beginning. So I expected negativity, but I expected better negativity. I mean, I feel a little bit like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men when he said to Cruise, is this all you got? Please tell me this isn't all you got. Britney and Paris and offshore drilling. It doesn't seem very, very good for them.
Tucker, does it matter that McCain was the one who said we got to keep this campaign clean, no negative campaigning, etc.?
Well, it matters in that it shows that McCain can be pompous and silly like a lot of other politicians, including Barack Obama. I mean, that's an absurd statement for him to have made. People almost always vote against. People are voting for Barack Obama or supporting Barack Obama because they're against the Bush administration. That's the nature of politics. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it, and no one ought to apologize for it. But the sort of outrage among Obama supporters, they're attacking Jesus. You know, I mean, how dare they be mean to Barack Obama? I mean, come on. It's a totally look to point out the fact that he is a little bit light. That's a fair attack.
But I think the problem is when you talk about negative campaigning. First of all, that they've gotten some of the facts wrong. I mean, you've got an Obama rep today backing off on one of the attacks that they made on Obama about not visiting the troops in Germany. Michael Goldfarb, a McCain blogger, says it does now seem that Barack Obama snubbed the troops for reasons other than a lack of photo op potential. The initial reports were less clear. I mean, that's about as much of an apology as you're ever going to get in a political campaign from a one side or the other. But Chrystia, I want to play you this sound. This is Cindy McCain, again, talking about the fact that their campaign won't be going negative.
We're going to see a great debate, which the American public deserves, more importantly. None of this negative stuff, though. You won't see it come out of our side at all. I believe I can speak for my husband on the same thing. We'd rather not win than to have to do that. That's not worth winning.
But again, look, Cindy McCain is not the candidate here, so we want to be, careful. But she and John McCain issuing the same message, which is we're not going to go negative, we're not going to go ugly, and they have gone. And look, Tucker may be right that it may be fair game, it may be politics, etc., but they have gone super negative in the last week.
I think you're right, Dan, and I think the problem for John McCain is that he used to be the Barack Obama of the Republican Party, but because of the hand he has been dealt in this particular moment in American politics, unpopular incumbent president, a war, an economic slowdown which may become a recession, really the only shot he has, the only realistic shot he has, as Tucker suggested, is to go negative. But that's really dangerous for him because it goes against what was probably one of the most appealing things about the McCain brand. And if you add to that, they haven't gone negative really smart. You know, I thought Tucker did a better job right now flacking for John McCain than John McCain's paid flacks did. You know, much better to accuse Obama of being like Jesus than to accuse him of trying to be like Britney Spears.
Yeah. Tucker, I want to let you...
I mean, it's hardly flacking for McCain on my part. But look, I mean, McCain's posture, it seems to me, should be
I thought you
simple.
did a good job, Tucker.
He should, right. He should stand back and play the adult and make the case that Chris just did, that where we could be on the brink of some sort of bad economic spiral, and all these bad people there who dislike us, and running against a guy who hasn't, done all that much, charming and intelligent though he is, and wait for Obama to bring himself down. That's essentially McCain's only hope, is for Obama to self-destruct. If he does, McCain will win. If he doesn't, he won't.
But instead, what they've done is they've provided ammo for the Obama camp to put out ads like this.
He's practicing the politics of the past. John McCain. His attacks on Barack Obama, not true. False. Baloney. The low road. Baseless. John McCain. Same old politics, same failed policies.
You know, Roy, the question, though, is it does seem like it's been a rough couple of weeks for John McCain. Do you think that the polls are showing a move there, though, Roy?
Well, I think we're seeing a desperation. You can see the collective sweat on their upper lip. Like they're throwing the Hail Mary pass in the second quarter. You know what I get the sense, Dan, is that they think, wait a minute, we're behind. Here come the Olympics. Right after that is going to be the Democratic Convention with Obama making this speech on the 45th anniversary of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech in front of 80,000 people. They're getting desperate. They're pulling the ripcord and letting it rip. And I think it just shows the desperation on their part.
All right. On the other hand, Obama may have given his critics some ammo to pound him on his perceived, and this is the point that a lot of the critics have been making, is the arrogance issue. Today, the Washington Post picked up the statement he made to fellow House Democrats. Quote, "This is the moment the world is waiting for. I've become a symbol of the possibility of America returning to our best traditions." Since that quote appeared in the Post, Obama supporters have claimed it was taken out of context. One Democratic staffer who was at the meeting says, quote, "The Post left out the important first half of the sentence. It has become increasingly clear in my travel, the campaign, that the crowds, the enthusiasm, 200,000 people in Berlin, is not about me at all. It's about America. I have just become a symbol." Christian, smart comment.
Well, I think that it was a dangerous comment. I mean, I would be very careful about accusing Barack Obama of personally being arrogant or of personally exhibiting hubris, but this area is his Achilles heel, and I think it's not so much about Obama as it is about the really contradictory requirements that Americans have of their presidents. On the one hand, they want a Superman, a commander-in-chief, the most powerful person in the world. On the other hand, they want an ordinary guy, as we used to say about George W. Bush, the kind of guy you want to have a beer with. And to be both things is really hard.
Well, let me ask you this, Tucker. If you were advising a campaign, all right, if they said to you, Tucker, do you think that this is going to fly? Do you think that we should go and try and paint Barack Obama as arrogant again and again and again? What would you say?
I'm not sure arrogant is where I'd go. I mean, look, this comment, taken out of context or not, is very much like a lot of comments Obama has been making in public for the past year and a half. We are the ones we've been waiting for. There's a messianic quality to some of his rhetoric, and I guess my view all along has been his intelligence is too subtle. He's too sophisticated to really believe this stuff. The people around him believe it. You could get to a point where you start to suspect that maybe he's got something in common with George W. Bush, though. Maybe he thinks he's been ordained by a higher power to transform the world. I mean, you do sort of, do you know what I mean? If you listen to Obama every day, do you not? Do you not get the feeling sometimes that he feels like he is leading this transformative movement that's going to change human nature? I mean, there's something kind of creepy about that, no?
Tucker, isn't that a great thing? I mean, I just don't understand this idea that we don't want somebody who's confident, we don't want somebody who's smart, who's prepared. Oh. And by the way, it wasn't taken out of context. It was the exact opposite of what he was saying. What he was saying was very much, speaking of humility, it's not about me, it's about America, it's about what we've done. So it's despicable for Milbank to have taken that out of to say it's the exact opposite of that.
Roy,
and I just don't understand.
Deep breath, Roy. You obviously pay very close attention to what Barack Obama said.
Here's the deep breath,
Look,
Tucker.
I'm not flacking for anybody. I'm just asking you sincerely, does this not sound like, things Barack Obama has been saying this entire campaign. I listen very carefully to him every day, and yes, it sounds a lot like things I've heard him say in person at a dozen different speeches.
But it seems like confidence to me. I mean, it seems like Joe Namath saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, John F. Kennedy saying we're going to go to the moon in 10 years, and we went there in 8. And what we call those people are American heroes, not cocky.
Boy, I mean, okay.
If I could
there are many differences.
Yeah. Christian, final word on
just
this.
step in with one final thing. Political neuropsychologists have found that this sort of comment falls into this really interesting area where if you really love the candidate, this kind of thing makes you love them more. And if you don't love them, it makes you hate them more.
Wait, Christian, there are political neuropsychologists?
There are such people.
Really?
They study our brains as we respond to politicians.
Really? All right.
Yes.
I mean, look, I'm not a political insider, so I did not know that there were political neuropsychologists that, I don't know. Did you know that, Tucker?
I did. In fact, I'm related to someone who does that stuff.
Really? All right.
Yeah, it exists.
It's fascinating.
Our
Tucker
emotions
Carlson, Christian
are
Freeland,
influential.
Roy Seekoff. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.